Air Canada Center, City of Toronto, excited about the playoffs. Second round. Maple Leafs leading 3-1 here in Game 4, trying to even this thing up before they go back to New Jersey for Game 5 on Saturday night, which we'll have for you 7 Eastern on ESPN's National Hockey Night.
And there's no better city in the National Hockey League than Toronto in the playoffs. Just hockey comes second to nothing in this town, and you can feel the energy anywhere you go.
McCabe lead pass, Thomas knocked away. Devils turn, and Pandolfo starting it back. Caberlet stepped in there. Wolf put it right back in his own net. Joseph is down. And that shot hit the side of the net. Bob Corker nearly had a chance to stuff that one inside the post.
Yeah, a little bit of a misfire there by Caberlet. Caberlet inadvertently shoots it at Joseph. And Turner Stevenson was smart. He came in and took a good whack at it. I don't think he cared if he hit the puck, Dave, but he knocked the feet out from underneath Joseph. That's what created the scoring chance.
Pandolfo chips it off the boards. It's knocked away, though, by Yashkevich back inside the Devils' end. Stevens taking off the puck. Here comes Darcy Tucker. He overskates it. Good play by Thomas. He nearly forced that turnover. Eliashu has the New Jersey goal on a power play here in the second. Out there with Sikora and Bobby Holik now. So Larry Robinson trying to get his best offensive players out there as much as he can in different combinations. And maybe throw off the checking pattern of Pat Quinn. As it comes to Elias, he tries a shot that was blocked. Elias was third in scoring in the National Hockey League this year, only to Jaromir Jagr and Joe Sakic. Sikora knocks Yashkevich down, but the Leafs able to clear.
Larry Robinson doing what a lot of coaches do now, just sticking with pairs as players and changing off that winger or that centerman. Mogilny and Gomez always stay together. Elias and Sikora always stay together, but other than that, a lot of changes for Robinson's Devils.
Niedermeyer tries to center it. Picked off by Yashkevich. He'll bank it off the boards. Colin White is there. Dodge different intermission report coming up next. John Saunders, Chris Berman, Barry Melrose. Colin White sends it across. Wilson's going to stay in the net as Markov will pick it up. Over to Thomas, right wing side. It skipped away from him. And Thomas again. 10 seconds left in the period. Just over the stick of Sundin, and that was ruled a two-line pass.
Well, Toronto sat back here in the last minute or 2 minutes in particular, and that's not good. He gives New Jersey too much momentum. That's going to be bad news for you. They are sitting in a 3-1 lead, so certainly you want to protect yourself defensively, but I think they sat back a little bit too much here, and because New Jersey just has too many skill guys, and even if you do line up across your own blue line, which is what Toronto's been doing here, Dave, they get a McGillney or a Gomez or somebody comes through with a great move, and all of a sudden you're in trouble.
Well, after what happened in the second and third periods of Game 2 of this series, we shouldn't try to predict what will happen or could happen. Just about anything is possible. 7 seconds on the clock. Face-off just inside the Toronto blue line. Sundin wins it back for McCabe. And Brian McCabe chips it off the glass, and that's going to do it for this second period of play. And Matt Sundin got the 2-goal lead after Elias had cut it to 1.
Here's what's coming up later on News Sports.
I think they've done an incredible job with from the construction to putting out the merchandise. It's went well, and the soldiers appreciate it as always.
Outstanding job. Everything they bring in here goes pretty quick. Troops really love it. A lot of them come through here each and every day just to see what new stuff they come in here and buy.
Had pretty much everything and anything we could ask for while we're here. Anything to make living more comfortable.
Just to keep the store stocked and to keep things going for the soldier, you can can tell there's been a lot of effort put into it.
Smoking isn't easy. You're going to face some hurdles. But even if you have a temporary relapse and start smoking again, pick yourself up and start over. Renew your determination to be a non-smoker and you'll succeed.
John Butchergrass, Ray Ferraro, and Barry on the NHL tonight after Dallas, St. Louis. Boom.
Enjoyed you letting me skate on this big Have Another Donut line. Can't wait to hear Dave Telestrator and Brian Scrambled Egg the third period.
They're coming up next.
Oscar, I'm home. Look at this. What happened here? Were we losing?
I was the one that was looted. Well, you missed a great poker game last night. Felix, this TV remote doesn't work.
That isn't a TV remote. It's a blood glucose meter for people with diabetes. Murray must have left it here last night.
Ken, what's it do? Hey, can I get sports results with this?
Murray checks his blood sugar level with this. Then he uses the results to control his diabetes by adjusting his medication, exercise, even what he eats.
Oh, that reminds me, breakfast.
You're hopeless, you know that?
I may be a slob, but I'm not a dummy. If you have diabetes, don't you be sloppy about your health.
Learn to test and control your blood sugar.
We present a polished, professional, very competent image of the Marine Corps.
The mission of the band is to provide music for the President of the United States and to perform for various functions in Washington, D.C., and to perform for audiences across the country.
It's a phenomenal group of musicians who can perform anything from country music to Dixieland music to you name it, the band can do it.
America's military musicians, working in concert for patriotism and pride.
Follow a veteran on his date with danger in a doomed jet. The Edwards Test Pilot School gives students a supersonic year of learning. And an officer is on the ride of his life, battling incurable cancer. All this and more in May's Airman Magazine. Read it now.
ESPN2's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Dodge, the official vehicles of the NHL. Dodge, different. By Red Zone from Old Spice, intense protection for intense people. And by Nortel Networks, we're building the new high-performance internet. Welcome back to Toronto after 2 periods of play. 3-1, Leafs leading the Devils. Dave Telestrator and Brian Scrambled Engblom. I feel like we're made men now. We've arrived. We have nicknames from Master Chris Berman. 9 different Leafs have at least a point in this game so far. We talked so much, Brian, about the balance of the Devils. Finally, the Leafs are showing that.
Toronto needed to come out and establish their game. We said that at the very beginning. The onus was on them. They responded perfectly.
Joseph doing the puck in front of his crease, but it's held in now by Holik. That shot was blocked by Corey Cross. Shot 15-13 favoring the Devils. Here is Holik with it between the circle shot. Save Joseph! McKay was there screening.
That's one thing that New Jersey has not had a lot of in this game. They have not had traffic in front of Curtis Joseph the way they had most of the first 3 games. This time, they have people going to the net at least, and look at Bobby Holik, did have some time for a second, and just on the timing pattern, in comes Randy McKay, gets a little bit of a screen on Curtis Joseph. When a guy flashes in front of you like that, it's really tough to concentrate on the puck and pick it up after that body crosses in front of you. But Joseph did an excellent job. He sort of had to fight that one off. It hit him in the upper right shoulder, but he was able to cover it up.
Of course, it is out there against Arnott here. Arnott, of course, with McGillney and Gomez. So McCabe had it slapped away. Here is Scott Gomez with it. Gomez out of the corner. Goal-mouth pass was blocked by Joseph, and it's picked up by McCabe. Here come the Maple Leafs 3 across. Oh, big collision there between McCabe and Colin White. Shane Corson stays with it, tries to send it to Darcy Tucker, who was on the near side of Brodeur. Remember, the New Jersey Devils were the top scoring team in the National Hockey League in the regular season. They can score. Colin White with a big hit on Tucker. Domi comes up with the puck, sends it back for Tucker. Tucker had it slapped away by Brodeur. Caberlet moves in from the point. And it's knocked away, and McGillney for the Devils. Hands it off. O'Donnell fakes and now puts it into the Toronto zone. And it's recovered by Caberlet.
Brian McCabe's had a tough shift. He just got the helmet knocked off by the errant stick of Sean O'Donnell. And at the start of the shift, he just got KO'd by Colin White at the blue line.
Now it is slapped away out to center ice. Elias has it there. Elias, quick move. Gets it on beforehand, fires it in wide. Joseph comes out, slaps it around the board. Stanico moving in for the point. And what have we got? The net, I believe, yes, is off behind Curtis Joseph. And so they must blow it down.
Let's take another look at that hit by Colin White. Brian McCabe at the puck coming up the ice, and he seemed to just assume that he was not going to be hit when he was trying to dump the puck inside the zone. And he just forgot about the defenseman for a minute. Oh, he just got cleaned up by Colin White. It's like he forgot about him. The puck went off his stick. He tried to get it by him, and he just assumed that he'd let up on him and said, oh, yeah, you got me with that one. Colin White's a big, strong boy. And he finishes his checks whenever he gets a chance to. Sometimes he gets a little out of control, starts running around inside his own zone. He's done that a couple of times in this series, so he has to keep himself in check.
Another great example of the depth of the Devils organization. You can move a guy like a promising defenseman like Sheldon Surrey, bring this kid in, and Colin White was a force throughout the playoffs, right into the Stanley Cup Finals.
He sure was.
Gavich able to get it out to center ice. Devils regain control. 2 minutes gone by here in the third period of Game 4. The Leafs trying to even this series up. Trying to get a rare home ice win in round number 2. Niedermayer sends it ahead now. Sikora across the line. Passes to the front of the net. Elias couldn't get a stick on it. It comes back to the line now for Danico. That deflects off the stick of Juszkiewicz. Sikora tries to set it up for Elias, and the Leafs had it covered. Back comes Yannick Perreault. Perreault centering pass. Beresin rolls off his stick. Rebound chance. Brodeur was down. The puck was free, and the Devils get to it and clear. Oh, does Brodeur and the Devils, do they ever dodge a bullet here?
And how Brodeur made this save, I don't know, because he just barely got his toe on it. And I'm wondering if he's not a little shaken up here by the collision. Sergei Beresin is getting back on his game. He scored a goal already in this game. Again, it's Perreault to Beresin. And look at Beresin get out the handle on it at the last second. Oh, terrific arm save there by Brodeur. It was right at the very end of his foot. Watch Southwest Airlines goal cam here. The left leg of Brodeur off the heel. Gets the arm out, and Beresin airborne. What a great look that is. Completely horizontal. Can't control the flight of the puck or the shot that he wants to for Beresin, which was an advantage for Marty Brodeur. Looks like he's all right now. Yeah, a little bit of a smile. He's not feeling too badly about it. He feels a lot better because it didn't end up behind him.
children's future is everyone's responsibility. Conserve water.
Don't wait until tomorrow to see your doctor. Immediate medical advice is as close as your telephone. The free TRICARE Europe Personal Health Advisor Nurse Advice Line is available day or night. Simply dial the toll-free number to reach a registered nurse who will discuss your healthcare concerns, provide information on healthcare topics, or assist in advice where and when to seek medical help. Need more information? Call your TRICARE Service Center for the number. The Personal Health Advisor, another benefit from TRICARE Europe.
Father what dreams are made of.
Some dreams.
And he'll tell you hard work.
Live on in time forever.
We were kids, and he expected us to build the Great Wall of Philadelphia.
Those dreams you want with all your heart.
And he wanted it to be perfect. No friends,
Now do
no football,
whatever
nothing.
it takes. Follow through with the promise I made.
But over the months, we stuck with it.
Put it all on.
And when it was finally finished, all he said was,
Don't ever tell me there's something you can't do.
but you know, he was wrong. There is something I can't do. I can't thank him enough.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Welcome back to ESPN2's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Air Canada Center in Toronto. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Maple Leafs down 2-1, hosting the New Jersey Devils. More Stanley Cup action coming your way Saturday night from this series. ESPN's National Hockey Night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It'll be Game 5 between Martin Brodeur and the defending champion Devils and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll move ahead to further action of this Game 4 between the Leafs and Devils right after these messages.
Warning signs and symbols. We run across them every day in all aspects of our lives. But there's one warning that has a particularly important spin. It's a warning that comes up every time a DoD computer is turned on. It warns that all activity on a government computer is subject to monitoring and inspection. It's no game, and it's a good idea not to ignore it.
Don't wait until tomorrow to see your doctor. Immediate medical advice is as close as your telephone. The free TRICARE Europe Personal Health Advisor Nurse Advice Line is available day or night. Simply dial the toll-free number to reach a registered nurse who will discuss your healthcare concerns, provide information on healthcare topics, or assist in advice where and when to seek medical help. Need more information? Call your TRICARE Service Center for the number. The Personal Health Advisor, another benefit from TRICARE Europe.
Every time an adult gives up on our kids, every time we surrender to the belief that their future is out of our hands, every time we say, their problems aren't my problem, another child is left behind. I'm General Colin Powell, and I don't believe in giving up. That's why I'm heading America's Promise, a movement that gives adults just like you and me the chance to get involved and help our kids develop the character and competence they need. Reach out and join America's Promise. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you can do something important.
Log on to americaspromise.org and find out how you can help in your hometown. Or give us a call.
Pull your weight. The future of our kids is riding on it.
Gary Roberts getting a new helmet. Matt Sundin, I think he set the tone for this game. Remember back in the first period when the whistle blew early on a great scoring chance? Matt Sundin was absolutely furious, just showing that kind of passion, that kind of anger. Good point. Which is something that is not part of Matt Sundin's personality. And maybe it is Matt's rather soft-spokenness and rather laid-back personality. The reason he's been unfairly the brunt of some criticism, but he certainly showed that he meant business tonight. He was very upset. He was ready to play this game right from the opening faceoff.
Good point. He's been ready to play this entire series right from the beginning faceoff, and he certainly carried through here tonight. Scoring the goal is one thing, but you're right, Dave. I mean, the emotion that comes from a captain in a situation like that means an awful lot, and it does carry over.
Now Holik to McKay. Not a lot of room for the Devils to operate, but they do get it deep for John Madden. Madden sends it out in front, bounces out to the point. Rafalski has it. Rafalski's back pass is knocked away by Roberts. Followed up by Corey Cross into the zone. Cross makes a nifty move and avoids Scott Stevens. Pokes it in deep now. Here is Roberts with it. Roberts centering pass. And it's knocked away and recovered by Holik. Rocky Berg rolls it back now for Markov.
That's a good play by Markov there. Just getting the puck, wheeling it, keeping it moving right out of the Toronto zone, skating it up over the blue line and getting it deep inside New Jersey. It doesn't show up on the box score, but when you're defending a lead, when one of your defensemen can just grab the puck and wheel, it means an awful lot.
Here is Berezin. He's got Perreault coming up to make it a 2-on-1. The pass to Perreault, and it was just an escape. Good recovery by Colin White. White with a bit of an elbow there on Berezin. Berezin comes right back at him with a hit. Long outlet pass for Sikora. Peter Sikora looking for his first goal of the series. The pass deflected off of Yushkevich. And again, it's cleared by the Leafs. And all of a sudden, you looked up and we're almost to the halfway mark of this third period. And the Leafs still enjoying a 3-1 lead. Leafs with just 2 shots in this period. Against 8 for the New Jersey Devils.
Well, it's been an interesting game in that there's been a long time between whistles on a lot of occasions, then a flurry of altercations after that.
Domi's shot was partially blocked by Rafalski, and Domi lost, rather broke his stick. Here comes Scott Gomez. First shot saved made by Curtis Joseph, and he hangs on. We have passed the halfway mark of the third, and the Devils still trailing by 2.
He topples tall buildings. He sends trucks flying. He devours everything in his path. Godzilla? No, your baby. Fortunately, Family Advocacy has programs that can help with new parenting skills. Because Family Advocacy knows we can all use a little help.
Kansas is our 14th largest state and is located in the Plains region. It is bordered by Nebraska, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Colorado. Once covered by an inland sea, parts of Kansas became a depository for fossils of prehistoric fish and reptiles. Many of these can be found in the Chalk Pyramids, situated in the northwest part of the state. The highest point is Mount Sunflower. Located near the Colorado border, it is more than 4,000 feet high. Much of the state is fertile farmland, making it one of the most important agricultural centers in the U.S. Kansas also has the distinction of being the geographic center of the 48 contiguous United States. The main river of the southern region is the Arkansas, while the northern half of the state is drained by the Kansas River. Kansas, a unique part of the American landscape.
In Rome, the word missus meant a portion of food or a course at a meal.
Here's your Mrs. Legionnaires.
Over time, the term became mess and referred to a group of military people eating together regularly. Mess was adopted by the American colonists and is still in use today.
Well, there's another fine mess.
The mess, a continuing part of our American military heritage.
ESPN2's continuing coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Air Canada Center, Game 4, Eastern Conference semifinals. Dave Strader, Brian Englund, and the rest of our crew that's enjoyed bringing this series to you. Face off to the right of Joseph as Shane Corson leans in across from his former teammate back early in the career of Jason Arnott when they were teammates in Edmonton. Jason Arnott giving a lot of credit to Shane Corson for his development as a NHL player. And all of that's put aside when they're going head-to-head.
I asked Jason Arnott this morning if there's been much verbal stuff going on between these two lines, but particularly Corson and Arnott. He said, no, not too much. He said, Toronto has carried most of the verbal stuff.
Yeah.
He said, we walk away from it most of the time. But he said, Patrick Elias gets a little upset sometimes and gives them a what for.
He passed him. He couldn't quite get to it. It was chipped away. Puck was swept in, but Domi was still in the zone, the playoff side of the New Jersey line.
We're going to see a lot of this Corson, Domi, Tucker line from here on. Darcy Tucker is a guy that, along with Corson and Roberts, is a stir-em-up, in-your-face kind of guy. They need that momentum, that enthusiasm, but he gets carried away. Well, his brother-in-law right there, Shane Corson, he said has been one of the best influences on him in the last 5 years because they drive to the rink together. He settles me down. And Shane Corson learned it from a pretty good group of guys in Montreal, guys like Bob Gainey and, of course, Larry Robinson, who was a very even keel. So it's funny how things go full circle when you've been in the National Hockey League for a long time.
Knocked away by Roberts. Thomas and Sundin trying to make something happen here. Rafalski able to lean on it to get the clear to Holik. Now Madden dumps it in. Joseph plays it off the boards. And it's out to center ice. Got through Rafalski all the way down to Brodeur. And Brodeur will hand it off now for Scott Stevens.
Oh, Roberts is hurt.
Yeah.
And he fell over his own player, Stevie Thomas. It looked like that left leg. One of those weird plays where Roberts is swooping to get back up on the play. Maybe it's the right leg. Yeah, he's limping on the right leg, but he fell over his own player. Here's Seven White, takes a hack, can't get out of the way of his own player. Oh, man. Thomas was sweeping in. Roberts going the other way. Might have locked up that right knee a little bit.
Well, let's get to our storyline, brought to you by 1-800-CALL-ATT. Patrick Elias' 12th career playoff goal in his first of this series, but it's been Matt Sundin again, the leader and the captain of this Toronto team.
Yeah, it sure has. And the storyline replay is the hits in this game. And boy, have there been a lot of them. Toronto has dished out more than their fair share of them, even on Marty Brodeur. They've received a couple, too. The anger, the animosity, the downright hatred at times that exists once you get to Game 4 and beyond in a series is something I love to watch.
Madden was challenged there and is picked up by Gary Balk. He starts it back the other way. Balk chips it in. Brodeur starts to come out. He backhands it along the boards. Balk continuing with his speed.
Ball's out there for Gary Roberts, who went right to the players' bench, to the locker room after that injury to his right leg.
Balk tries to roll it back between his legs, but it's picked off by Rafalski. Now Madden had it stripped away by Cross and Sundin to Balk. He's got Thomas up the right side. Thomas tries to stuff it back in front. Picked off, and the Devils back the other way. Under 8 minutes to go now here in the third period. Markov center ice. Drives it around the boards behind Brodeur. Knocked away out to center ice, and Markov has it there. And then Chino. Lead pass for Elias. Joseph comes out, slaps it to the boards. Sikora, oh, he almost caught Joseph.
Oh, did he ever.
It's not an easy shot for a lefty from those boards, but Sikora looked like he had that labeled.
Goal scorers always know where the net is, and the quick hands. I mean, he snapped that one with so much on it, it surprised Curtis Wilson.
Now Sikora put it out between the circles, hoping for a teammate, but it's the men in the white jerseys instead. Leafs clear it back into the Devils' zone. New Jersey regains control as it comes now to Scott Niedermayer. May see him gamble even a bit more here now with this 2-goal deficit. Going later into the third period and the clock starting to become a factor. Icing here on the touch-up by Sean O'Donnell. And look who's back on the Toronto bench, Gary Roberts. That's good news.
They acquired him to come in here and do a job physically. That's why they signed him in the offseason. And throughout this series, what he has done for Matt Sundin is get in the face of Scott Stevens in particular. Stevens has to play against Matt Sundin and did a great job against him last season. Well, Roberts has constantly been in the face of Scott Stevens time and time again, has gotten Stevens riled up, certainly. And again tonight, he picked up early on right where he left off there. What this does is it gets Stevens preoccupied. Scott Stevens has a temper, and the more time that he spends on Gary Roberts, the less time he spends on number 13. And Gary Roberts is more than happy to make that sacrifice.
All three of the Toronto goals have come 5-on-5 at even strength. Scott Stevens on the ice for two of them, the Berezin goal and the goal by Sundin.
And Sundin now has 6 points in this series.
Yes. Stevens was upset about the matchups in that third period comeback in Game 2, game that was eventually won by the Devils in overtime. O'Donnell's shot that was blocked, comes right back to the New Jersey defenseman. Jason Arnott let it go for McGillney. McGillney behind the net, fakes one way, goes the other. Backhand pass, picked up. O'Donnell back to the line. Rafalski redirected by McGillney just up over top of the net. Jason Arnott with it once more. Now it comes to McGillney, and his pass didn't get much on it. And Darcy Tucker back the other way, able to put it in deep. 6 minutes straight up left in the third period.
Great coverage by Toronto there on that last weekend sequence in front of the net. They just shut everything off to the outside. New Jersey tried to throw it through a couple of times, but it went through harmlessly. They just have to converge back to Curtis Joseph and protect him, and that's exactly what they did.
Here is Roberts with it. Gary Roberts flips it in. It's gloved down by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer, look at the quickness. Well, he was angled off the puck by Thomas. And it's sent right back into the double zone. Here comes Roberts again. Huge hit on Rafalski.
Apparently the knee's okay.
Oh, I guess it is. He came a long ways to deliver that hit.
And it revs up the fans. It revs up the team. Again, that's the stuff that they wanted from Gary Roberts. That crash and bang grittiness that they didn't have last year in this series.
Gary Vault. He'll put it up on the glass. Berezin hit by Niedermeyer. Now here's Stevens. Now Niedermeyer sends it across. Stevens. Well, this kind of play where nothing is happening is...
The fans are loving it.
Yeah.
They realize how well their team is sitting on this 3-1 lead with only 4.5 minutes to go.
Maple Leafs don't mind this at all. Clock is their friend. And Shane Corson is going to get to it, and he'll just put it in deep. Why not?
And look at the fans celebrating by dumping the puck inside when Corson dumped the puck inside the zone. That's an appreciation for the game, the style of game that they're putting on right now to protect this lead.
McGillney trying to get the speed going. New Jersey's had the last 8 shots on goal, but better than 13.5 minutes than Toronto's had a shot, but you just don't get the feeling that they're in trouble. Gomez behind the net now. Getting it to Jason Arnott. Back for Gomez. They're trying to cycle and make the Leafs defense make a mistake. McGillney shot missed the post on the far side. Domi gets there. Oh! He knew Colin White was coming. He just waited for the collision. They collide again.
Oh, there have been some great pops in this game, and it's ready to boil over right now. The bubbles are all over the place, boys. The pot's boiling away.
19,000 fans on their feet as the defending Stanley Cup champions are on their heels, really, for the first time in this series. Even though though the shots are 8-0 or whatever over the last few minutes, I mean, Toronto really has dictated the temperament of this game.
And what they're on their feet about is the guts and grit of this Toronto team. All the things that they talked about, again, from last year when they finished the series against New Jersey and it didn't turn their way. That's what the fans are acknowledging right here. Guts and grit.
Just over 2.5 minutes remaining here in the third period. Just gave it back to touch it.
I've never seen a standing ovation for the trap before. Oh, the Leaf fans are going crazy because their team is doing everything they have to do, and it's led by guys like Gary Roberts. When he comes after you, man, look in the rearview mirror.
Here's what's coming up later on News Sports.
I think you should wear a tie.
Dad, nobody wears ties to school.
Tie says you're serious. It'll make a good impression. And remember, you're there to study,
to learn, and to make something of myself. I got it.
Almost half of all UNCF students are the first in their family to go to college.
They have some great architecture classes.
Dad, I'm not really interested in architecture.
Well, keep your options open. And remember, no girls until
my work is done.
And I'd make sure that I got my lunch.
Dad, you're not going. I am.
I know.
Listen, you better get going. Don't want to be late the first day anyway.
Oh, yeah. And when you're the first to go, you're going for a lot of people. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Excuse me, could you tell me where the Blackstone building is?
Ding-a-dong, hee-haw?
Excuse me, could you tell me where the Blackstone building is?
Ragtag Smokestash Shabibo. When others can't understand you, and you can't understand others,
The Blackstone building?
then you have a clue what it's like to live with a communication disorder. Millions of Americans are born with these conditions. For millions more, problems develop later in life. Speech-language pathologists and audiologists are developing new treatments and new technologies that bring people together.
You don't happen to know where the Blackstone building is, do you?
Shenandoah. For more on communication disorders and where to find help, call 1-800-638-TALK.
Shenandoah Street, 2 blocks down.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
A public service message for the American Speech-Language Hearing Association.
Oh, what a great atmosphere in this building. Who has the devil by the tail? Toronto Maple Leafs do right now.
It has been constant noise for the last 2 minutes.
Crowd still on their feet since we went to the commercial break. And it started, as you pointed out, just by the fact they were dumping it in and playing the trap through the neutral zone and not giving the Devils any sniff of a scoring chance.
And we talked about early in the game how home teams have not fared very well, to say the very least, in this second round. This is home court advantage. This is what it's all about.
Sikora back deep in his own zone. Now for Colin White. He's run into by Barras, and everybody's getting into the hitting act. Now here comes Sikora. Sends it across looking for Elias. And it's cleared out to center ice by Gary Ball.
Momentum means so much in the playoffs. From one shift to the next, one period to the next, one game to the next. Who has the momentum right now? Toronto Maple Leafs in spades, folks.
Well, we'll see if Brodeur starts to come out, but he can't because here is Tucker with a drive and a save made. Domi. Domi has it. He'll just dump it back in the corner. Shane Parsons coming in for the hit on Rafalski. Here's Domi with a chance. Backhand save. Domi goes crashing in. Tucker with a shot. And a crowd of bodies in the crease. And the puck is finally covered up.
And Scott Stevens is working over Ty Domi. Throwing a couple of right hands. That was a complete screw-up by New Jersey. And Stevens still trying to get some licks in. Domi was down and didn't have a chance really to respond. Scott Stevens, like another shot at him. Still in the crease area is Ty Domi laying down.
Let's go back to the studio where things are a bit more calm, and John Saunders.
Just here to remind you that after the Hockey's baseball tonight, Red Hot Indians take on Kansas City. The mighty Blue Jays take aim at Oakland. Randy Johnson battles the Expos. All coming up next on Baseball Tonight with Brian Kenny, Buck Showalter, and Rob Dibble.
All right, John, thanks very much. And they're still just sorting things out here.
And Ty Domi got the clean-cut chance and made a nice play. Went to his backhand and tried to flip it up over Marty Brodeur as Brodeur went down. And look where he ended up. And Scott Stevens had him in a vulnerable position, to say the least, and just couldn't resist the fact. Actually, Domi should have known. We didn't see that from up here. Ty Domi, even though he's the one in the vulnerable position, he threw the first punch up at Stevens. And Stevens was more than happy to oblige. Ty Domi has been in the middle of everything since the beginning of the game. He took 2 bad penalties in the first period, but they didn't get burned on it. But that line, Tucker, Domi, and Corson, has been outstanding, as has the top line, Matt Sundin. The permanent smile of Ty Domi. Yeah, we're winning, man. I don't care. You can throw all the punches you want. You won't hurt me right now. He would love to score the goal there.
Oh, I guess so.
It was a good move. I mean, Marty Brodeur made a heck of a save on him there.
Now, you know, hockey players have long memories. Ty Domi was reminiscing when I worked Game 2 with Neil Smith, the former general manager of the Rangers, and Ty was talking about a bench-clearing brawl at the end of a playoff game back in '92 between the Rangers and the Devils, and it was him and Scott Stevens that had a pretty good go. So they have some history, and tough guys never forget, do they?
Oh, that's for sure. Scott would gladly have obliged them right there, too, but obviously it wasn't the scenario when Ty Domi was laying on his back there. It's like Mardi Gras in here right now.
It comes back to Caberlet, so it's a power play for the Leafs here to close this one out. Now with under a minute to go, and the Leafs with the man advantage that they're going to even this series up, heading back to New Jersey for Game 5 on ESPN at 7 o'clock Saturday night. It comes back to Brian McCabe and slipped through him, and Caberlet has to hustle back, hammer it off the boards, taken by Bob Corkum at the playoff side of the Toronto line.
That was a good scoring chance there for Brian McCabe. He moved in and it inadvertently went in between his feet.
And as John Saunders just told you, don't forget to stay with us right here on ESPN2. Baseball Tonight is coming up next. Also, don't forget that NHL Tonight is over on ESPN immediately following that St. Louis-Dallas Game 4 from the Savas Center. Domi out there on the power play.
Little reward treatment here for Tucker, Domi, and Corson on the power play here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've had such a strong game. Pat Quinn puts them out here on the power play in the late stages.
Joseph able to get it now to Caberlet to Tucker. Lead pass, Ty Domi. He's behind the defense and he's in. Sends it across. What a save by Brodeur. Domi, unselfish, tried to set up Corson and back behind the play. There's a New Jersey Devil that is down and out, and Scott Stevens in the penalty box that would have seen the whole thing is absolutely furious. I was watching the rush up the ice, did not see how this happened at all.
I didn't either. I think that's Sikora. I'm not quite sure. No, Sikora's on his feet. Excuse me, is it Niedermeyer? I can't even tell right now, but he is not moving. This happened behind the play as Ty Domi was getting his scoring chance coming up the ice. New Jersey was going ballistic, and some of the players seem to have almost stopped a little bit on the play, obviously sensing that one of their players was hurt, and that helped lead to the scoring chance that Domi and Corson just had. We're trying to get a look at it see if we can find it anywhere on tape, but Scott Stevens, who was on the opposite side of the ice in the penalty box, look at him. He goes ballistic because he was looking behind the play, and he saw exactly what happened. I'm still not sure who that is. I think it's Niedermeyer, but we haven't been able to see a number. He's obviously in great difficulty there.
Wow. I don't think he has moved yet. There's several of the Maple Leafs, as you can see there, showing concern, and I don't see anybody on the ice talking to any particular Toronto Maple Leafs. So Stevens, as you saw from his reaction, saw something. And we just saw one of the technicians down there checking the pulse of the New Jersey player.
Stevens was looking behind the play, and so he saw the whole play develop, and you saw him fly out of the seat and go crazy.
And that is Scott Niedermeyer. And apparently he was hit by a Toronto player. And it was a Toronto player that had an elbow up, and Scott Stevens saw the whole thing. And
Ty Domi, let's take a look. Here's Niedermeyer coming along the glass. This is behind the play now.
Oh
man.
Boy, no question about
Domi
that.
Comes across with the elbow.
And he ended up with the scoring chance.
Yes, you're right. It was Domi that ended up coming down the ice. So he flew by him, stuck that elbow in the side of his head. Niedermeyer went down like a shot and didn't move after that.
Well,
and Stevens is just like a caged lion right now because he obviously saw it. We showed you his reaction initially. He saw Domi take a shot at his player. He's blowing smoke out of both ears right now, waiting to get out there against Ty Domi.
Well, we have sung the praises of Ty Domi tonight, and rightfully so, but you can't condone that kind of a hit. I mean, that's just head hunting.
Yeah, it's dangerous. They're going opposite directions, and he flings the elbow out there and full-on hit the Niedermeyer, who obviously didn't expect it. Again, Niedermeyer didn't have the puck at the time, and Domi caught him with an incredible elbow there. They've got Niedermeyer over on his side now, which certainly is good news. But there's a raft of doctors around him. And, of course, when you get a blow like that to the head, any head trauma, they're going to take extreme measures there. And he obviously lost consciousness because he didn't move, at all for a very long period of time. And with the blow to the head from the side like that, it's snapping back. I mean, that can happen very easily.
Look like they're getting the neck brace in position around Scott Niedermeyer.
That would be standard procedure in this type of situation. Again, they're ultra conservative and cautious about blows to the neck.
Well,
the head.
The National Hockey League is going to look at this. There are officials from the National Hockey League here. I'd be surprised if there was not some kind of penalty imposed against Ty Domi because of the situation. 7 seconds on the clock.
7 seconds
the
to go.
puck not there.
Yep.
And I'm surprised at this point still that nobody from the Devils,
Well, because of where it happened, for the guys on the Devils bench, very few of them, if any, would have been able to see it because they'd have to bend over and look way down to the left. Scott Stevens was in the penalty box on the opposite side of the ice. He maybe have been the only Devil who actually saw it happen. And again, we showed you what his reaction was. He went ballistic and flew up against the glass and was banging his stick on the glass to get the referees and everybody else's attention, for that matter, once they saw it.
Welcome those of you from ESPN News joining us here on ESPN2. Dave Strader, Brian Engblom. And what has happened here, a severe blow to the head of Scott Niedermeyer, the outstanding defenseman for the Devils. Ty Domi coming by, and the elbow to the side of the head, and Scott Stevens on the opposite side of the ice in the penalty box obviously saw the whole thing. Actually, the continuation of the play, Ty Domi ended up going down on a 2-on-0 and getting a chance with Shane Corson. And you saw Stevens screaming over the box, but obviously the concern right now is only about the well-being of Scott Niedermeyer.
Larry Robinson, I'm sure, doesn't know exactly what happened because he hasn't been able to talk to his captain, Scott Stevens, who is still in the penalty box. Now, you can see they've got Niedermeyer. They've got that neck brace on, and he's on the stretcher, and they will wheel him out again. They do the ultimate conservative thing and put the neck brace on right away until they can get a further look at him. But he did not move for several seconds down after the blow. Once we saw him, oh, that's a great sign. You could see he's opening his eyes. He's conscious. He knows what's going on around him. And let's all keep our fingers crossed that nothing too serious comes out of this for Scott Niedermayer.
That is Don Koharski, the referee that was talking with Scott Stevens, and not a sight that
now what'll
we'll
happen
to see in any sporting event. Now Domi,
he'll go right off. They'll send him to the locker room because all heck would break loose.
Yeah,
you know that after the game. There's only 7 seconds to go here. Domi's going to get a penalty, and the referees, they want him off. Niedermayer was hurt right in front of the gate that leads to the Toronto locker room. So they waited for Niedermayer to be taken away. First thing, Domi right off the ice to prevent anything from going crazy here at the end of the game.
Totally unnecessary. If Domi wanted to send a message or even go out of his way to hit a guy that didn't have the puck, he could have crunched him into the boards. But the elbow up around the head, I just don't understand that.
And it looked like Niedermayer was sort of oblivious to the fact that Ty Domi was there. I mean, they're going in opposite directions, and he didn't seem to pay any heed to the fact that Domi was there. I'm sure he saw him, but it didn't look like he expected the shot. Now Scott Stevens is being ushered off the ice as well, too. The referee is concerned about his boiling point. And again, we've showed his reactions to the point because, again, I think he is probably the only Devil that actually saw this thing happen because he was on the opposite side of the ice from his bench. And here he is. Watch Niedermayer. He's looking up the ice. He just was going to slip out of the way of Domi. He was sort of like, oh, I see him coming. I see him coming. Leaned out of the way. Look at Scott Stevens. That's why they kicked him off. Look at him. Look at that face. Ooh. He wanted a piece of Ty Domi or anybody in a white jersey right now. So they did the right thing there, too, to protect the Leafs from Stevens and maybe even Stevens from himself right now.
Well, I'd be surprised if we see any more of Ty Domi in this series. We can only hope that we see something from Scott Niedermayer, and we've just been told that we will have an update on the condition of Scott Niedermayer as soon as we know, and we will let you know not only on NHL Tonight on ESPN, but also right here on ESPN2 on Baseball Tonight as soon as the condition is known. And
here's another look from the other angle, folks. Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. You could see the puck nowhere around. Niedermayer, we'd seen from the other angle, saw Domi coming, just sort of leaned out of the way like, what are you doing here? I don't have the puck. And that shot was obviously intentional from Ty Domi.
7.4 seconds on the clock.
So all the atmosphere that was here for the last 4 or 5 minutes in particular from the fans here, a pall has been cast over it because an injury to whether it's a home team member or a visiting team member doesn't matter. It changes things dramatically right now.
Well, they will drop the puck and play these last 7 seconds. But oh, what does it set up for Game 5 on Saturday night?
Well, it's unfortunate they had to end with a injury there at the Niedermayer, but the Toronto Maple Leafs deserve a lot of credit. They had something to prove. They had to take the initiative. They did take the initiative. Excellent, very strong game from the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Leafs even the series at 2 games apiece with a 3-1 victory over Martin Brodeur and the Devils. Our next National Hockey Night will be tomorrow, Friday night, 8 Eastern on ESPN, as the LA Kings try to stay alive against the Avalanche, Game 5 from Denver. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Up next is Baseball Tonight for Brian Engblom and the rest of our crew. I'm Dave Strader. Good night from Toronto. The Leafs win it 3-1.